Jesus more.
So today, dear friends, we celebrate the feast of Saint Matthias. Very little we know about Matthias, just like I said in the introduction. Um, but there is a lot that is there for us around, especially his election. First of all, the fact that there is now what is called what is the word I'm looking for? It just went off my mind. But the handing over, the fact that mission has not to end with the apostles, but it has to be given down to the next generation. So there has to be an election and the replacements of Judas, first of all, to make the number 12. To make the number 12. That is very important because it cannot be 11. If it's 11, then there might be certain things later on that might not be fulfilled. One of them would be from the book of Revelation, where, in chapter 7 and chapter 14, where the number is 144. So if it's 11, then 11 multiplied by some other thing could never make 144. And many people have interpreted this 144,000 that we find in the book of Revelation as that is the number that's going to go into heaven. Okay, some people will say, okay, our church is going to be this 144 that is going to make it to heaven. And there's a lot of misinterpretation there, because later on we find in Revelation chapter 7 verse 9, just after that, where it talks about this 144, the John, who received this revelation and this vision, said that I found a vision of a number that I could not count, that comes from all tribes, impossible to count. So 144, we can count 144, but a number impossible to count means that there is something more than that. And what is that? That there is the Old Testament talks about the 12 tribes, and then we have the new Israel, which is founded on the 12 apostles. Therefore, the 12 times 12 becomes 144. That's why we have 144,000 in the book of Revelation. But just to make you know also that there had been a problem like this, not only the fact that Judas left the group, or that Judas betrayed the Lord, and therefore the number was 11. There was also a time when there was one of the tribes of Israel that almost disappeared, and it had to be replaced. So what happens in the Old Testament is the same thing that happens in the New Testament. If you go to the book of Judges, you realize that there was a time that there was an atrocity and a scandal that happens amongst the people of the tribe of Benjamin. And the rest of the tribe of Israel had to fight and wipe out the tribe of Benjamin. And if you go to Judges chapter 21, verse 3, you hear the people say, how is it that on this day one of our tribes is wiped out? We have to do something to replace that tribe. And from chapter 21 of Judges right up to the end, it talks about how the tribe of Benjamin was replaced, how it was still the tribe of Benjamin, but it was wiped out, and they tried to revive it and make it again a nation. So what happens in the Old Testament is the same thing that repeats itself in the New Testament, that just like the tribe of Benjamin did something scandalous, Judas also did something scandalous. But all these tribes, the tribe of Benjamin and Judas, had to be replaced by Matthias, and Benjamin again was revived again. And the number had to be 12, because 12 symbolizes completeness. But more than that is the fact that we now belong as well to the chosen people. And Jesus says in the gospel, it is not you who chose me, it is I who chose you. So if somebody has chosen you, for instance, we have Jingai now, who just passed the board exams 2 days ago. Congratulations. And she goes now to get employed, and she's interviewed and taken into a job She has to listen to the instructions of the people of her employers. She has to follow their ways. She has to go by what they want, because they are the ones who have selected her, and they have to put a curriculum for her to follow if she has to work as one of their teachers. So therefore, she cannot go there and begin to do what she wants, right? She cannot just go there and say, this is what I believe is right for this school. Otherwise, she would fall apart with her employers. So they have to give her a curriculum that she has to follow, because they are the ones who selected her. She has to go by their ways. In the same way, Jesus says, I chose you, meaning that you have to allow me to instruct you in my ways. You have to allow me to lead you and guide you, not by your own power, not by your own might, not in your own ways, not by your own principles, by the principles that God has given us. And what is that principle? Love. He says, there is no greater love than to lay down our lives for our friends. And he says, this I command you. This is my rule. This is my principle. This is the standard by which you should go. This is what you must do as somebody who has been employed, somebody who has been called and chosen. Love one another. This is all. This is his instruction. This is his way. If we have to be disciples of God, disciples of Jesus, if we have been chosen, then we must go by that command. Love. Love has to be at the center of everything. Whatever thing we do, it must come from love. If you have to gossip about somebody, you must ask yourself, is it coming from love or not? If it is not, then don't do it. Insofar as it comes from love, then do it. So, my dear friends, Jesus gives us this command because we have been privileged. Like St. Peter says in 1 Peter, he says, you are now a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. We all have become that chosen race. We have become also like Matthias, who have been chosen and sent. On which principle? The principle of love. That we must go and spread that love of Jesus. The love that moved him to die on the cross that you and I might have life. We must be able to stand for each other and to love each other. Not to find reasons to condemn, to judge, and to hate each other, but reasons to be able to bring each other into the love of Christ, the love that we have experienced ourselves through the death and resurrection of Jesus. Therefore, as ambassadors of the good news, let us continue to ask God for the gift of faith, to be faithful to that command, the command of love.
Kiss us, mother, kiss your children. Bring God's blessings from above. With your mantle blue enfold us in your gentle holy love. See the darkness dissipating, hear the trumpet echoing, Satan's rage